beauties, it's me, Allegra. Babes, I get so many questions about how I do my eyeshadow with my super hooded eyes that I have. I have super hooded eyes, yes, and I also have droopy eyes, so my hooding is probably droopy, I've been told. Girl, it's all good though. I'm all good with it. Especially when you know these tips and tricks that I'm going to show you dolls today. The hooding is not an issue for me. The droopiness is not an issue for me. I know a lot of people go and they get even their hooding cut out, and I don't feel at this point in time that's something that I would ever do, because I feel if you know these tips and tricks that I'm going to kind of show you guys today, then you're just going to feel so confident too, and that you just love your hooding, and it's just a part of me, and I don't mind it whatsoever. I did originally, when I started making YouTube videos though, I was self-conscious about it, because you might have noticed, but pretty much everybody that does makeup on social media, on YouTube, does not have this kind of super hooded eyes. Let me zoom in so I can show you guys exactly what I'm talking about. As you can see here, when I relax my eyes, there is my hooding. So it actually even rests on my lashes. I don't think it looks too bad, but a lot of people, it's difficult because most YouTube videos, most tutorials out there, most videos that you would see, the person doing the makeup has a very large lid space. And so when you have a smaller lid space, and then when you have your actual hooding and your that part of your eye actually in the way of doing your eyeshadow, it makes things kind of difficult. But it's all good. You definitely can work around that and have an amazing look for yourself. And I have to tell you before I get started, as a makeup artist, 99.9% of my clients, 90% of the people in the world they don't have a large lid space. They actually do have not necessarily hooded eyes, but they'll have a small lid space, or just different things going on. Most people do not have the eyes that you see on YouTube videos or on social media, where they have that huge lid space. The makeup artists of the video that you might be watching on Instagram or things like that will choose a model with a very big lid space to show off their work, to show off the shadows. So they will specifically hire a model for having a large lid space. So you're mostly used to seeing people have this huge lid space, and so that might make you feel self-conscious, but when in reality they just chose that model because it does show off the makeup really well, because they have a huge lid to show all the makeup and to do a lot of work and to do a lot of creative things. So I just thought I would put that out there for you. Don't feel self-conscious if you do have smaller lids and hooding in the fold in your eye, because that's really how most people are. So there's nothing to be self-conscious about. So let me get right into it and show you exactly though some tips and tricks that I use on myself to disguise the hooding and to create all different kinds of looks that you really can do. You really can create the same kind of looks that you see online, although you will probably have to use different brushes. Then you'll see someone with a huge lid space, they can use big brushes. They don't have to use a lot of detailing brushes, a lot of tiny brushes that we as having hooded eyes will have to use. But let me show it to you dolls. For example, you might have seen a lot of makeup artists online using super fluffy brushes to do all their blending and things like that, and it's easier to use big brushes when you have a lot of lid space. But when you have a hooded eye, you want to work with smaller brushes. This way we can be very precise with our shadows and keep everything where we want it and things like that, since we don't have a lot of lid space to work with. So the first thing that I like to do, I have already done my brows. Now, if you can, before you do your eyeshadow, I highly recommend if you can clear off any stray hairs, because hairs will even be growing down here. And if you can just take a small magnifying glass and you can just go in and see if you have any hairs growing even down low, because you'd want to pluck those out. So this way we keep all of our lid space, all of our eye area clean to work with. If you have sensitive skin, you might want to do that the day before you're going to do your makeup. If you do your makeup on a daily basis, maybe do pluck those brows and then wait a little bit if you feel like you have sensitive skin. I do have sensitive skin, but I do feel comfortable with, plucking any stray hairs that might be there right before I do my makeup, but I know some people are super sensitive. So if you're super sensitive, do that. You might want to pluck your brows the day before or a few hours before you go ahead and do your eyeshadow. So I have already cleaned up any stray hairs that might have been growing in, and now I'm just going to move in with my concealer. I love to use concealer to prep my eyeshadows. You can use any concealer. I think to use a drugstore concealer is great. This way you don't, you're not using a super pricey concealer as a primer. So I just go ahead and take my concealer and take a very small brush. This is a pretty precise brush. This is the MAC M456, and it's really nice brush. It's super precise, and then you can use this to just distribute that concealer all over your eye. This brush is super precise, so we're always wanting to use brushes that are precise when we're working with hooded eyes. So I do bring it under my brows, and I just use just the tip here to carve out under my brow, and then I flick it outwards and just put it all over. And then I also like to put that concealer right here in this space. So this is also just going to give you the appearance and the illusion of a bigger eye, because we're going to put some shadow in there as well. And so we're just going to try to use all of the space that we can to apply our shadows. You can also smudge some under your lower lashes as well, since we're going to put some shadow down there. And now I'm going to move into a medium-sized to small-sized fluffy brush. So I do not use a super fluffy brush like a lot of makeup artists will go in with a super fluffy brush right away. So I like to just take a small tapered brush. A brush like this Morphe M456 is really good. It's tapered fluffy brush, so it's on the smaller side. So then I like to dip into a matte shadow. These Urban Decay shadows are really great. This is the Honey palette, and there's a lot of great mattes in here. So I feel like when you have hooded eyes, matte shadows are really going to be your best friend. So it's a little bit more difficult to use glitter shadows and shimmer shadows when you have hooding. That's pretty much the only difference that I can think of. But we're going to do some little bit of makeup magic here. So let me keep it moving. But I like to dip into a pretty dark shade. Not the darkest shade that we're going to use, but a medium tone darker shade. So I'm going to go in with my, not the darkest, but pretty much almost the darkest shade. So I'm going to take this shade here, Drip. So out of all of these shadows, you can see that it's, I would say this is the darkest. So I'm going to move in with this shade here. It's not the darkest shade in the palette, but it's, it's on the darker side. So you want to go for your shades that are on the darker side, but not the darkest. So you just want to take your brush and just dip right in, and don't be afraid to use a lot of shadow. Just go ahead and dip right in, dig into the shadow right there, and then you can tap off the excess, and then go ahead and just stamp it right on the outer portion of your eye. So you just want to go in and stamp. I like to just keep repeatedly going in, dip, tapping off, and then stamping. So this way we're starting to create our eye shape here. So I'm building the illusion now of our lid. So this is kind of making, right now what we're doing is pretending that our lid is up higher, that our hooding is up higher, and that this is all of our lid space, but it's really not. But because we're using the dark shadow, we're drawing on a new faux lid up here. So I took it up pretty high. Let me show you on this eye. So here's my real lid down here, but I'm going to just go above my real lid. So you just want to go right above your real lid, which is probably down very low if you have hooded eyes, and put this color, just go ahead and stamp it right above your hooding. About, I would say that looks like it's about 2 centimeters or 1 centimeter above your natural hood. So you can even relax your eye and see where your hooding is at right now. So my hooding is down here, my real hooding. So let's go ahead and stamp right above it. And this way we're disguising the real hooded. The real hooding is being disguised right now. By using this darker shade, we're disguising our real hood basically. So I'm really happy with that. What I have done now is use the darker shade to make our hood recede. It is now kind of hidden, and our real hood is all the way down here, but to the eye, it's to an eye from far away, it kind of starts to look like your hooding is up there, like you have a huge lid space. So that is the point of doing this. And I think that looks really good. I'm super happy with that. So now I want to go in and take another small fluffy brush. You can use another brush, like if you get another Morphe M454, and if you have another one of these, that would be great. And then you want to move into a lighter shade, and this way we can transition that dark shade out. And you want to keep your dark shade pretty low because you want to leave room in your brow bone area to highlight and to give you something of a transition look going on. So don't take your dark shade up too high, because we're going to put a transition shade in there. And that's what we're going to do right now. So I'm taking my small fluffy brush again, and I'm just going to reach for one of these lighter matte shades in the palette. So I'm going to reach in to Sweet. So I'm just going to dig right in and tap it off. And then let's just touch just the edge of the shade that we just laid down. So you just want to tap. Actually, I'm going in with Swarm. So I'm sorry, we're using Swarm right now, which is this shade. And I'm just going to tap off the excess and then tap just the edge of that dark shade. So now we're just making a nice transition, and just stamp it all over. Wherever your brown shade ended, just stamp this on top so we get a nice blend going on. So just the edge. Stamp it right on the edge, and that's it. You can even bring it out too if you want. This is going to make your eyes just look bigger. So I do like to just extend it and just kind of flick it outwards as well. And then I'm going to take our previous brush and our previous shade, and I'm going to go back in and bring back the deepness that we lost when we were just transitioning that shade out. Just stamp it again. And now you can actually kind of just wiggle the brush and get a nice blend going on. So just pretty much the edge, just touch the edge where those two shades meet, and you just want to very, very, very gently make sure, as a matter of fact, make sure you're holding your brush properly with pretty much with 2 fingers, because this way you're going to get the perfect pressure. So don't hold it like too hard. Hold it very gently, like so. You want to hold it very gently, and then tap very gently and make very, very small circular motions very gently, just to blend any of our edges out. You could tap again when you want it to be more intense. Just go like that and just tap, and you can also kind of flick upwards, just the edge though, with the baby feather strokes, just very, very, very gentle strokes. So at this point in time, I'm going to take our same brush that we're using, and I'm going to take one of those darker shades, and I just like to smudge that under my lower waterline. You can skip this if you'd like, but I think it looks really nice, and it gives you a very professional makeup artist look. It will look really nice, like you had your makeup done professionally. When you kind of just smoke out your lower waterline. So just very, very gently, just very gently under your lower lashes. So now we want to go ahead and blend just our edge now from our transition shade into our brow bone. I like to, again, take a very small brush. So I'm taking, this is the Jeffree Star Morphe brush. This is the number 17 Morphe JS17. And when there's really no product on the brush, I like to just take it and just very gently blend. There is no shadow on this brush right now, so I'm just very gently just blending just our edge now of our transition shade. So I'm really happy with how that looks. Now I would like to just go in and brighten up my brow bone, so I'm going to take my lightest shade in the palette, and just on a very small smudger brush, I'm just going to run this under my brow bone. So I'm just running it under and just kind of pull it, very gently pulling it down, like so. And then I'm going to go ahead and take that very light shade, and I'm just going to put it in my tear duct area right there. And you can bring it all the way out even, and then a little bit onto your lower waterline like so. But I'm just putting it all the way out there. So now is when I would use my fluffy brush finally, my super fluffy brush. And I'm just going to take this Morphe brush. This is the Jaclyn Hill JH32, but you could just use any fluffy brush. And now I'm just going to go back in with our transition shade and just bring it back a bit. And now I'm just going to sweep it all over the upper portion of my eye and just blend everything together really nicely. Again, holding it super gently with my two fingers and just dipping into our transition shade, and just go ahead and just buff that very gently like so, and you'll get a really nice blend that way. And then also you can sort of, when you get towards the outer portion of your brow, just flick it upwards like so. So we're holding it super gently and just buffing our transition shade in to that transition area. So now you can always go back in and bring back any darker shades because they do get washed away a lot of times. So I'm just going to go back in with my super darkest shade and I'm just going to bring that back. I can still see my hooding here, so I really want to disguise that. So I'm going to take into my dark shade again. So I'm just dipping right in and I'm just going to tap, and then I'm going to hold it like sideways, and then I'm just going to put that right on top of my hooding because it actually needs more disguising than these shadows are giving me today. So I don't like when I can still see it, let's put it that way. I like it to be disguised. So I'm taking this brush and I'm just going to now buff it in very gently so we can disguise it. So now I'm going to dip into my darker shade in this palette, which is Sting, because those previous shades were still not disguising it good enough for me. And I'm just going to wiggle this brush now right just on top of the crease. Just on top of your hooding, just put it right on top very gently and just wiggle the brush like so. So you're wiggling it like this kind of motion. That's much better at disguising it. So, and then I'm just gonna buff that shade out a bit. Whenever you put down one shade, you always have to kind of buff it out, although this way you won't have that harsh line. So you just go back in with your previous shade and just kind of tap it. Every shadow is different, so sometimes I don't need to use the darker shadow in the palette. Sometimes the medium tone shades do it, but if you feel like it's not doing it and you just keep going deeper and deeper with your shader type of brush until you get the look that you want. So I'm really happy with that. Now, like I was saying before, when you're working with hooded eyes, I myself, as you can see, I have super hooded eyes. So using glitter is a whole nother story. Cutting the crease is a whole nother story. You can do it for sure, but for today, I figured I would just show you primarily how to work with your hooded eyes. An easy way to kind of cut the crease or add some glitter, I'll show you right now. But you can definitely go in and cut your whole crease and add glitter. So don't think that you can't, because you really can. And I'll show you in another video, but it'll be too long to show you all of this today and how to cut the crease for hooded eyes. I'll do that another day. But I just want to show you today how you can add glitter, how you can add shimmer to your eyes when you're working with your own hooded eyes or a client or whatnot. So I love these shadow sticks from Mercier. They are super amazing, and wait till I show them to you. So I'm just going to take this one here. This is called Metallic Taupe. She has a whole range though, all different colors. These are really, really amazing, and they're super easy to work with, so especially when you have hooded eyes. So you just take the pencil. Again, you always want to hold whatever makeup brush you're using, usually going to hold it like so. And you can just run that right along, you know, kind of lift your eye up a bit, and you can just bring that right in on your lid. And so I'm actually even going over now my hooding. My hooding is down here, and I'm just going right over it with this shimmer. So a little bit like so is not going to cause any issues. If you go too high with the shimmer, it's going to start to draw attention to your hooding, and it's not really going to look probably a look that you would like. I know I don't like it, but this is a look right here that I love. So I just kind of bring it like so. So I'm not bringing it up too high, but just a little bit. I am going right over my hooding, And then I'll do the same on the other eye. I love these sticks so much. I've never seen anything like them. So I'm not, like I said, I'm not bringing it up too high, but just a little bit. And then kind of just flick the edge out. And you can go ahead and put that in your tear duct. These are so pigmented, so, oh my god, I truly have never seen anything like these. And I'm just putting it right in the tear duct area like so. And bringing it up a little bit. But like I said, you don't want to bring it up too high at this point in time. So I absolutely love that. You can do way more. You can go ahead and transition that out. You can pack a shimmer on top of it to make it even more intense. So I'll show you for like a really nice holiday, easy holiday look, but you can take any shimmer shadow. So I'll just take some shadow like this and just a flat shader brush and just tap it right on top, and it just comes out so intense and so gorgeous. It's really crazy. Just tap it right on top and just kind of flick it inwards. It's so gorgeous. And then just pull it out, and then you can take some of a matte shade, a light matte shade in your palette, and just pull that, put that right on top of it as well. This way we can transition it out, because you'd want your, you know, whenever you put one color down, I like them to be transitioned from one shade to another. So I always, to do a transition shade from one to another, you would do light, medium, and dark. So this is our light, and then I'm putting a medium matte right here just to blend it out. And I'm just flicking it outwards like so. So I love that. Wow. So I'm just going to throw on these lashes though really quick, and then we'll see how the final look is. Oh, and I did put on this lip though. This is Anastasia Bohemian. I absolutely love this shade. And then of course before I do my lashes, let me just give myself a spray of my Allegra Teddy Beauty Mist. So this is just super amazing at giving you that dewy, glowing skin, a more youthful kind of complexion where, you know, nothing is cakey and nothing is settling into fine lines. And it definitely also makes your makeup last so much longer. So it's made of all skin-loving ingredients, all natural, cruelty-free, made in the USA. So I'm gonna go ahead and give it a spray. And it smells, oh god, it smells amazing. So that's where we're at. So let me go ahead and pop these lashes on, and then we'll see the finished look. So dolls, this is the finished look. I did add some gloss, and I added some liquid liner just to disguise the lash band. I didn't do too much with liquid liner today. I'll do another video on how I do liquid liner for super hooded eyes like I have, and a lot of my clients have those super hooded eyes. So I'll do another video showing you exactly how, so you can get all kinds of dramatic and fun and all kinds of looks. So don't forget dolls, you can purchase my Allegra Teddy Beauty Mist on my website, and you can use a few different promo codes. I have them listed below. I believe we have Shine Bright right now, and you receive free shipping. I also am going to be having buy one get one for Black Friday, so be on the lookout for that promo code. It'll be coming soon. And that's pretty much it all. So don't forget to subscribe. I have a huge monthly makeup giveaway every month. I'll have that link below. I'm having a huge giveaway going on right now on my Instagram, so I'll have that link below as well. We have so much fun stuff here going on, so I definitely hope that you'll subscribe and stay in touch. Hit the notification bell, and so you know when I'm online. So that's pretty much it, dolls. So let me know if you like these tips and tricks. Let me know anything that has helped you down below. If you also have hooded eyes, I would love to hear any of your tips and tricks that are helping you. And that's pretty much it. So I love you guys so much. I hope you're all doing amazing, and I'll see you soon. Bye.